You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. Got a special guest in the building.
My brother.
Krondon.
Kron, what's up, my brother?
But now his name is Marvin Jones
III.
That's my name. Thank my dad and my granddad.
But if they've been paying attention to you throughout the years, you know, when you dibble and dabble in the acting thing, you always use your government name.
Yeah, I do, indeed. When the episode of Harry's Law that I was on was my first big, any acting thing, actually, on credit. I used my name, Marvin Jones, for sure then. But a lot of people didn't even know I did Harry's Law, and I didn't promote it. I think it was
Why didn't you promote it?
Well, I did in the sense of Twitter had just started when I did it, you know, and all the social media stuff had started. And then I think I was just kind of not fully accepting the fact that I was making a little bit of a transition at the time, you know.
You're
so
still
it was
in the rap game.
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah.
I was still in the rap game, and if you know my rap career, you know I was authentic to what I was about.
Right.
And
Strong on
am
steady
about.
gang.
Indeed. And I just had a little bit of reserve about that. Envy, honestly, man. You know, I thought like, okay, well, how cats gonna look at me? I'm acting, and especially the role I was playing. You know, this cat from Africa, and I was, you know.
It's dope, though. A lot of rappers want to make that transition also, and it's not an easy one.
At all.
But back then it was like, oh, you selling out, you commercial now.
A little bit. I had a little bit of reserve like that, but and like Sis said, it is that, you know, we want to do it, and then when you're faced with it, you're like, wait, okay. Now, how are they going to look at me? You think about that just a little bit. But that was then, and totally this is now.
Yeah,
I got a nice text in the middle of the night like, okay, Krondon's coming up there. You know he's one of our clients.
Yeah.
So shout out to Kevin Parker.
Yeah, Kevin Parker. Yeah, and Brian Walsh over at PYE.
I got
Who
Brian
was that? What is Kevin? Who's Kevin Parker?
Excuse me.
An attorney or?
Management.
Kevin Parker's management. Yeah,
Okay.
no attorney, no.
Okay.
Him and Brian Dobbins are great management. And I actually know Brian from my agency, Buckwall. Don Buckwall an agency, and they are incredible agency, and been so
Don is
supportive.
a legend.
So supportive of me from the beginning of this whole thing. And Hannah Rolfe, shout out to Hannah Rolfe. She's over in Israel right now, and she's a great human being. Has been holding my hand through this wonderful process that I've been on. And I met Brian there when I went actually signed there. Brian was the cat who took me around the office and all that, so he wasn't even at PYE at that time. And I've been knowing Kevin for my whole career. You know,
It's important when you're doing acting to have good people in your corner that
Absolutely.
can really make sure you get the best situation possible.
I always tell people to DIY and BYT, right? Do it yourself and build your team. And I used to always say DIY first. I would say DIY, then BYT. Now I say BYT and then DIY because you got to have that team.
Have a strong
and then
team,
you do it. You do the work. You motivate the team. You activate them to move. But you have to build that first, or you'll be on this island alone.
Right.
You know, and thanks to the good graces of good God, there's a river in the dry land for sure. So even if you don't do it exactly right the first time, you'll get that chance. But my advice, from what I've learned, is to definitely build that team. Take the time while you're developing the craft to build the team.
And this is your like first big major role, right?
Indeed.
Yeah,
My
playing
first big
Tobias
role.
on Black Lightning.
So how did this happen?
Oh, man. Truthfully, I had been dabbling, like I say, with acting since 2011. I was getting some small roles, got a couple of calls, some roles online, and did the Harry's Law thing. But I wasn't actively pursuing it, truthfully. You know, I wasn't going to acting class. I wasn't out there, beating the internet up, trying to build a team around myself in acting. And truthfully, like I said, I'll give it all to God. I was working on a solo album with my man Evidence from Dilated People. Shout out to him because he got a solo album out right now.
Shout out to Evidence.
Shout out to him. I love him dearly. We were working on a solo album, and in the midst of that, had a meeting with a cat named Sadiq Sayers from Rhyme Sayers, and he got a call. Cats were looking for a cat, for a role. And
Looking for you or just somebody?
Yeah, looking for me. And in that, they didn't have information on me. They thought I was on his record label, though. So he reached out to me and said, hey, man, these people are looking for you regarding this role. I told him we had just had dinner. You mind if I give them your number? He had reserve about it. He's kind of like, you mind if I give these people your number? I don't know what this is. I'm like, sure, yeah, man. Someone call me up. And 20 minutes later, I get a call from Vicki Thomas. I don't know if you know who Vicki Thomas
I know
is.
Vicki.
Yeah, you know Vicki. Yeah. So shout out to Vicki Thomas, man. So she called me and said, "Hey Marvin, got your number from Sadiq. Got this role we want you to look at. You think you're good for it? Come on in, you know." So I'm like, sure, read the role. At first, I was familiar with Black Lightning, honestly, but I didn't know the intricate workings of it. You know, I know about the black superheroes for sure. Black Panther, Luke Cage, Black Lightning, of course, Storm. Yeah. And I did a little homework and saw what it was. First black superhero family, 1977, you know, right after I was born. And I was like, wow, man, you know, this could be something big. Looked at who I was scheduled to play, read the breakdown, which is, for those that don't know, there's a description of who the character is and what it is. And
Tobias Well.
African-American, politician, underworld boss with albinism. And I said, okay, well, this is why they're calling me. Immediately, my first
Nothing wrong with that typecasting, my brother.
Brother, not
That's
at
God's
all.
gift.
Especially in this time now that we're in. And it's definitely God's gift. Thank you, brother. So when I get that, you know, I look at the breakdown and I see it, I go, okay, wow. I might have a shot at this one. Now, all the ones that Lexus commercial with the other 50 cats in there in the black suit, I don't know if I had a shot at that one, but this one I might have a shot at this one, you know? And I did a little homework.
That Lexus commercial.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, let me, get ready, do my due diligence, prepare, you know? And this is a great opportunity, and we know what happens when we are prepared for the opportunities.
Right.
So I did that. And went in the first time, read, auditioned, you know, and thought I did a good job. About a week later, Vicki Thomas calls me and said, hey, come back in. And this time, wear a suit, you know?
They said, do you own a suit, sir?
Yeah, do you own a suit? First of all, and it's funny, because she did say that. Hey, do you have any suits? And luckily, you know, again, by the grace of God, I go to church a whole lot. So I have a couple. I had a couple.
So what does being an albino have to do with the character?
Well, the creator of Black Lightning, Tony Isabella, and I hope he's watching this because he's a sweet and wonderful man. He hits me every week the show comes on and tells me that he loves what I'm doing. And that's like one of the biggest and best compliments I can get because he's the creator of the show.
Somebody literally told me you're the best actor on the show. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, and I know you're mad at me for that, but I am going to watch it. I got to binge it.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, totally, man. You're a busy man. Are you serious? First of all, let me say that I've known each of you individually for a very long time throughout the stint of my career, individually. And I've known you guys collectively for a very long time. This is my third time here. You guys have always been welcoming and warm to me. And I am so proud of you guys, individually and collectively, man. I follow you all. And I am, again, I mean, you know, bro.
Yeah, Krondon, man.
Quite often, more than we do. But I got to say this to you guys, just marvel, you know, at what you guys have become to our culture and how important you guys are to it. Just know that.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
That's nice.
It's incredible. And I watch you guys, as everyone does, religiously, whether I'm here or not.
He's like,
so
y'all need to watch my show.
Yeah.
I'm definitely watching it. Show the support back. I'm definitely watching it. I'm definitely going to watch it. Absolutely. 100%.
That's my brother. I know. Come on. My point to that is you guys are very busy. So you watch when you want to watch. That's my point.
The only reason
You're
I would
very
watch
busy.
it, because you know I don't like DC. I don't mess with DC comics.
Come on now.
I don't.
What do you mean?
I like, I'm a Marvel guy.
But you're also a Krondon guy.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
Krondon's the
I
only
mean-
reason I would watch it.
And they have incredible content in the world of the comics, you know.
And you got to support everybody, man.
Absolutely.
Indeed. And especially, you know, Black Lightning, I have to say, is, I call it the FUBU show because it's totally for us, by us.
Absolutely.
You know, it's for the people, by the people. And, you know, and it has everything to do with Salim Akil and Mara Brock Akil, who you know their work.
Love Mara Brock.
Yeah.
Actually,
How
I
can you
was talking
not?
to her last week.
Good. How can you not? She is a queen, right?
Absolutely.
And
Girlfriend's creator.
I mean, the creator of Girlfriends and Being Mary Jane, The Game, so many great things. And Salim Akil as well. And that brother is a true believer and champion of me and every individual on the show. And my cast is incredible. So, again, I'm so privileged, you know, and blessed right now to be in the midst of these people.
So
you
what
were telling
happened
us why the albino plays
the
albinism
pardon me.
plays a role.
Yeah, the character Tony Isabella, the creator Tony Isabella, created the character Tobias Well to have albinism, and he told me this story. It's so dope because when he was growing up in Cleveland, he's from Cleveland, he knew someone that had albinism, and you know, he grew up around a lot of black people in Cleveland, of course, you know, Cleveland, and so he understood in a lot of ways the black experience. And when he was growing up, reading comics and loving comics with his friends in the neighborhood, you know, he had that idea, and something came over him that my friends don't have comic book characters that look like them, that are going through the experiences that they're going through. And that's why he created Black Lightning, the first black superhero family. You know, and of course in that neighborhood, if you know 1 in 30,000, the first time I came here, Envy and I had a conversation.
Absolutely.
That has resonated, Envy, through my career. So many people, managers, agents, people in Hollywood, you know, look at that interview and get a view of who Marvin Jones is.
No, absolutely.
Not necessarily Krondon, and I thank you so much for that, man. That
No,
was
thank you
such
for
a great
explaining and not
conversation.
feeling away for me asking.
Oh, no, man. No, man. We brothers, man.
Well, Envy wanted to know because he gets mistaken too all the time.
I know, it's the light skin thing.
Exactly.
That's what, come on.
Exactly.
I get it. You know, I don't get Puerto Rican or Cuban and all that, but I get it. Absolutely. But I get it. So Tony wanted to, you know, show the full spectrum of black, the full black experience, things that he was seeing in the neighborhood and in the community. And so when it came down to him creating all of these different individuals in Black Lightning, you know, he said, well, you know, why not have this pivotal character in it? You know, be albino, because I see people in the neighborhood. I see people in Cleveland, you know, or I've met a person in Cleveland. You know, I wouldn't say because not a lot of us, but I met a person and I had an experience with them, and I want to bring their experience to life. And shout out again to Salim Akil, because in the comic, if you follow it from 1977 on up, Tony was still very vague about what albinism truly is and the experiences that we face. So, but he did have the representation in the character Tobias Well. Salim Akil, in his storyline, if you follow the show, has a very, very extensive backstory for Tobias Well and why he does some of the things and the reasoning and all that. And when I got the role, Salim called me and asked me how I felt about some of these things that he was preparing to write and had written already.
Wow.
And I was, again, just honored and privileged to even be asked, you know, from the creator of the show, how I feel about these things and am I going to be able to tell this story the right way.
That's dope.
And yeah, and it was just dope, you know, so.
Plus you got that superhero voice.
Oh, thank
Definitely
you so
has a
much.
superhero voice.
Thank you so much.
How did you identify with the character other than that, though? Because he's a corrupt politician turned gang leader. Like, is anybody you studied?
Yeah, I studied a lot of things. Of course, you know, actors that I respect that have played villains before. And of course, you know, me thinking that now, here I am in this comic book world of superheroes and villains. And it's, I mean, you know, think about it. You know, it's kind of like you're stepping into the NBA when it comes to film or television or anything like that, you know, because you have such a history of greats, you know, whether it be Lex Luthor or the Joker, of course, you know, Cottonmouth. The list goes on, you know, Wilson Fisk, so many ones if you follow that world.
Absolutely.
You know? So me knowing that I had such a genre of people, a big mass of people who follow this genre and are expecting something, a certain level. So I studied, you know, other super villains and super villains of all types, not just comic book world, you know, even things like Nino Brown or, you know, what have you.
Were you in the comic books as a kid?
I was a little bit. I was a Marvel guy, I admit, you know, and DC as well, you know, of course, like Superman and Batman and all that, some of my favorites, honestly.
Right.
But of course, Fantastic Four and other ones. I was in the comics, but it kind of, growing up in the hood, Envy, you know, especially the way that I grew up from very humble beginnings, the comic book phase fizzled out fast.
It did.
You know what I'm saying?
Once I got to the streets.
Man, that fizzled out kind of fast. So, you know, I had it for a moment, but I'm going to be honest, man, by the time I was about like 14, 15, I was giving them things to my cousin, man, my little brother. You know, to be honest, and shout out to my cousin Kenny because he still got them, I'm sure, somewhere.
He got some bread now.
Yeah, indeed. And so I was into them, and as an adult, I saw the impact that the comic books from our day and childhood was having on this generation. So again, for the role, it was a responsibility of mine to want to but to match, you know, and be at that level, you know, of some of these greats before me. So, you know, I don't know yet because we're not done at all. We're just getting started with this whole thing. We're at season 1. You know,
just got green lit for season 2.
Thank you. Yes, indeed, we did.
Congrats,
by the grace of God. And we're at episode 12. Just came on. We're about to do the season finale coming up next week. And you know, America loves the show. The number 2 show on CW right after The Flash, and number 3 streaming. And I'm really, really happy and excited how this world has received it. But again, we're just starting. Right. You know, this is a black family. These are black stories and black experiences.
Yeah, the father still got to leave the house.
No, this guy doesn't leave the house. He's a superhero, Charlie. He's not going to do that.
But do you continue to focus on music as much now? Because this is a whole new lifestyle. Wow. This is a whole new arena. This is a whole new fan base.
It is. It is, Envy, man.
They don't know you're a rapper, though.
They don't.
They have no idea.
Some do.
And you can still be writing for other people, too, while you're doing this.
Yeah.
But do you want to?
I do.
Not to say you Will Smith, but you going in that direction, funny, crossover,
man.
like this, that's where you at.
You funny,
You don't
man.
have to.
I take that and humbly receive that, Envy. I still don't have your paper yet, but I'm working on it. I think that I love rap. I came up in it. You know, it gave me everything. You know, and I gave it a lot. You know, you guys know. You guys supported me. You know, I wouldn't be the rapper I am if it wasn't for the support of DJ Envy, you know, and Charlamagne the God and Angela Yee. People wouldn't even know me, especially in New York City. Serious. So I love it. You know, this is kind of, though, it's like almost being, you know, thrust into a whole new dimension of understanding from a world you already know, though. You know, so you're in space, you know. But you're going into another galaxy. You know, you're coming from Earth, but you're going into another galaxy. And trust me, I don't mean it. I know how to sound. I'm still down to Earth.
It's like
we understand what you're saying.
But you know what I'm saying?
It's all the industry, just another.
It's still industry,
space
but it's
industry.
another. And you guys know. You know, we have same representation. You know, you've done everything. You know, you're doing everything. You guys are doing everything. That it's a whole nother animal than a one-dimensional idea that rap sometimes is. Now, for this new generation, and shout out to all the new cats doing it and coming up, because they don't look at it that way. It's a 4- and 5-dimensional thing for all these new rappers, you know what I'm saying? Especially the smart ones, right? They go into a whole nother plateau. But like I say, when I was coming up, it was kind of like, you know, taboo to do anything else but write lyrics, especially my, you know, genre of rap.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it was frowned upon. Hammer couldn't do Pepsi commercials.
Yeah, or anything, man. You know,
cartoons.
And it started to change. You know, around the time of Redman, Method Man, Common, Mos Def, Exhibit. You know, Will
I think
Smith,
Pac changed
of course, Pac, of course, Pac, and I think, but at the time when you got like a Pac, Cube, Will Smith, Pac, Cube, Will Smith,
LL,
still LL,
Latifah,
it's still like a handful.
Yeah.
So it's still kind of far out there. And these are people who had been doing it since the early and mid 80s. So it's still kind of like, oh, yeah. It's looked at like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they're supposed to do that.
How does the show look at you? Does the show say, all right, now you know, you are a rapper, but you're our star. So don't fuck this up. Don't do this. Don't talk about this because, you know, you...
Oh, Krondon actually, he grown too, though. So you're not like some little young kid rapper. You got to, you know what I mean?
So much,
Still though.
Because, still though, right?
Because now they invested a lot of money in you. This ain't paper money.
They have. And shout out to Kill Productions and CW and Warner Brothers because they are investing a lot of money into all of us, to the whole cast. Cress Williams, Nafisa Williams, China Ann McClain. If you guys know China Ann McClain's work from Disney and Descendants work and all of that, she's huge. James Remar, who's incredible. Everybody, the whole cast, they're investing a lot of money, time, effort, and energy. So, and like my good brother Charlamagne said, I think, and you guys know me a long time.
Right.
So I think had I got this opportunity maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, it would have been a different situation and story. It would have been a different guy up here, smelling different, looking different, feeling different, everything. So now at the time that I did get this opportunity, and you know, they say that God only gives you what you can handle, and He gives you when you can handle it.
Absolutely.
Right? And He doesn't give it to you until then. So as much as you want it, you're not going to get it until then. I believe that God knew that I was prepared at this time, being grown, knowing that in rap I had such a career. And even in rap, the beautiful thing, I think the last couple times I came up here, we talked about this, that even in rap, I was started to mature and go in another direction, you know, especially leaving the group, not leaving the group, but the group kind of taking hiatus and me going solo a little bit. So it's just the timing of it. I'm a much more mature man and have a clearer view on where I want to represent myself.
How long did it take you to be comfortable with the role of Tobias?
It's a good one. Good one. Angela.
To where it was kind of flowing and you felt like you were him.
Because like my brother asked, like, you know, I'm not a politician and I'm not a drug lord. I don't do the things that Tobias Well does. And
a little used to be a little drug lord.
What are we doing?
What are you trying to do? Are you snitching on him right now? I just told you they invested in the
Why
law.
did he say that?
Why is he doing it? You guys are big.
It's legal in California.
Just a little crooked.
Weed is legal in California.
Okay. But anyway, I digress. It took a lot in me to focus on the inner villain inside of me. You know, like my brother just let out the bag a little bit. I think we all have that though, you know. I think that, you know, what I was able to explore as an actor is that we all have this vast array of emotions inside of us. And the key to acting, something that I've learned in class and studying the greats, is that our job is to find that place and tell that truth from that place. Now, we all have, like I say, a vast array of emotions. We go through things. We are angry, we're happy, we're sad, you know, we're depressed, we're horny, we're in love, we're broke, you know, going through heartbreak, all these things. And every character has a story to tell that we, at some point of our life, have had to live through. Or not live through, suppress, keep ourselves away from, make a choice to go the other way. With the Tobias Well character, I get to play in a direction that I've, in a lot of times, maybe wanted to suppress, or a lot of times blocked out of my mind. Saw, but did not want to go that way.
Nice.
You know, witnessed, but turned the other, you know, the blind eye to. So now I can take all of that emotion, embrace it, play with it, you know, play that on character, and make sure in my life that I don't represent that. That's the beauty in acting.
It's kind of therapeutic in a way.
It's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's very something me and my mentor talk about, and people that I work with in acting. That is very therapeutic. Acting, it should be therapeutic, I think, for the actor. You know, I think work, whatever you do, if it's your passion and you love it, it should have a way to be therapy for you. You know, that's what keeps the wellness going.
You know, you're such a great talent in so many different facets. Do you ever fear that, you know, from this you won't get more roles unless they're looking for somebody with albinism? You think they can get past that?
That's a very good question, Charlamagne. I don't fear it. More so than I'm aware that it could be. It's a possibility. What I do is I do the best work possible and represent my best self and try to defy whatever that odd may be. I know that God put me in this position for a distinctive reason, a specific reason, and I'm not even clearly aware of it other than that I'm just supposed to take whatever light's put on me and give that right back.
Gotcha.
And I do know this, that even more so than the albinism thing, because I really love my look. I think it's very unique, and I think it's shown if you look at Black Lightning and what's happening on Black Lightning, that uniqueness is a beautiful thing.
It pops.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Pops on camera,
on screen, in life, in the room. You know, we've had this conversation. You know, in a room, you know, like this, you guys all look alike to me. You know, and I look different in that sense to me, or to someone that is ignorant to what I am.
You stand out. Yeah,
I stand out. So that's what I'm saying. And I love that aspect of it. And I think that there's always place and room for that in acting. And with the whole cliche of diversity now, that's coming into Hollywood, and it's a beautiful cliche. I think it's one that I welcome because it says that, you know, they're going to pay us and they're going to give us, you know, our just due at some point and to some extent. And they are. And we are able to tell our stories now, or there wouldn't be a Black Lightning or a Black Panther or all these other beautiful things that are coming out.
Absolutely.
So for me, I want to defy that odd. I want to do good work and be an incredible actor, an incredible villain. So if anything, I'll get more roles as a villain. That's my thing, is I want you to see the villain in me more so than anything, and see the uniqueness in me.
Because diversity has to be all inclusive. It can't be women, gays. That's diverse. No,
thank you, brother.
That's not diversity.
Can't be that. And that's the beauty in our show. You know, is and again, credit to Salim and Mara Brock I Kill. That's why I say we're the blackest show on television, because I think that even diversity gets pigeonholed, and it gets has a selective idea of what it's supposed to be.
The cliche of diversity,
it's a cliche. So on our show, though, it's complete black. You see brother, that black comes in 36 shades.
Absolutely.
So it's the complete spectrum of black, from my spectrum of black, and shade of black, all the way to the darker shade of black. And they're all beautiful, and they show the full beauty of black on the show. It's a wonderful thing.
My brother Krondon. When does Black Lightning come on?
Black Lightning comes on every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Pacific Time, and 8 p.m. Central on the CW network. You can stream it the next day. It's on Netflix around the world. And I believe it's coming to Netflix. Don't misquote me, but I think May or June or something like that. I think May.
And the season finale is this Tuesday?
Season finale is this Tuesday.
But of course, we prefer you to watch it when it comes on, right?
Absolutely.
We prefer you to watch it when it comes on. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, I know you guys aren't. But I know I prefer you guys.
I'm gonna catch up.
I prefer you guys to watch it when it comes on. Our ratings have been great, so shout out to everybody, all the fans, and I like to call them family, that have been following this series the whole time from 1 to 12, and now coming up on 13, and they've been tweeting and live tweeting. I've been seeing all this stuff, Instagram, and making comments. Thank you guys so much. You guys have made this show a reality, and are keeping it a reality with season 2, and it's a black family. I have to say, it's the best representation, and there's other representation of black family, but it's a complete, real representation of what we're going through in today's time. So shout out to Black Lightning.
Yeah, and I want to thank you too, Kron, just for being a great friend all these years, man.
Hey, man, thank you, man.
I think me and Kron met through Debbie Dev, if I'm not mistaken.
Did, man. Yeah, he came to my birthday almost over 10 years ago.
Yes.
So I don't want to age myself. I keep trying to not age myself up here. Yeah.
and I always think about that night, me, Angela, and L'Oreal and Wax was together. And
how was L'Oreal?
She's great.
Good, actually.
She is great.
Is that the day when L'Oreal kicked Wax out the car?
Yes, kicked Wax out the car.
That is the day.
Spit on him.
That is the day. That is the day.
Like, we're going to Kron Studio. Let us out. I know exactly where we're going. We're going to Kron Studio.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I know a lot of villain stories about Krondon as well. So.
All right, time to end the interview. Let's go.
Krondon.
I don't like where this is going.
We're not doing that to our brother. Our brother going to be in the Emmy soon, okay?
It's the Breakfast Club.
Like I say, everybody knows me individually.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.